It's about that time for some transparent conversation. Take off the mask, gotta be real, let them know what you facing. It's about that time for some transparent conversation. Take off the mask, gotta be real, let them know what you facing. Give your battles to the Lord so he can take you on new level. Use that pain, turn it to purpose, run in circles round the devil. Let God fight your battle. Visions is here to just be real, stop the flexing. Tell the truth, cause he ain't got no time for the guessing. He give you blessings bigger than future. His plans to prosper you and give you hope and a future. It's about that time for some transparent conversation. Take off the mask, gotta be real, let them know what you facing.
Conversations with Latoya here on D30 Radio, the hottest and trendiest internet radio of all time. My topic today is restoring your marriage after infidelity. Oftentimes, after there's been infidelity in marriage, most couples don't weather the storm and work through their marriage. But this couple weathered the storm and worked through their marriage. And my guest tonight is Miss Natasha Graham. Hey, Natasha, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I just would like for you to share your story. And
I fell in like. I'm not going to say it was love at first sight, but I fell in like. And as we started to spend time together, we just, one thing led to another. I actually ended up getting pregnant with my daughter before we got married. And then we decided to get married. So, and I was using birth control, but I guess God had a way, or I felt like, it was God's way of telling us, hey, you need to stay together. So we ended up getting married and starting a family. So I have to go back and say that, the infidelity happened while we were engaged, but I did not find out until I was pregnant with our son. Were their godparents, or are their godparents? And then another friend of his is Tyra's got like two godfathers. Mm-hmm. So, there wasn't any reason for us to panic, and he actually, was adamant about we couldn't have another child. So we went, and at this time, we were in Texas. I was in school, and he wanted to take me to have an abortion. And we went to the abortion clinic, but I don't believe in abortion.
Right.
I believe that, each woman has the right to choose, but for me, I don't believe it because I believe that it's a gift from God. A baby is a gift from God.
Right.
So we had a huge fight, and needless to say, I didn't go through with it. Well, I was in school in San Antonio, and I still cheated because I feel like I was cheated from him telling me to my face, because he was in Louisiana, and he left. He went back to Louisiana, and he called me to tell me why he felt that we couldn't do it and what had happened. And so it caused huge drama, so much drama. I was going to have my orders changed from Louisiana to have them changed to Walter Reed. And I had actually tried to have my orders changed. And I guess, that wasn't in God's plan because I ended up going to Louisiana. And our marriage was strained. And then the other lady wasn't aware that he was actually married.
Wow.
In the beginning. And then after she called and told him, he finally told her he was married.
Wow.
And so it created some tension there, and she didn't want him to have any part, which I have to give it to my husband. Through all of that, he still wanted to take care, of his daughter. That's what she ended up having, was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I was angry, and I'm just putting this out there. I said things that it was so many things, that happened between then and now.
Right.
And I'm just going to tell you, it was by the grace of God. We tried to work through it. I was angry. Sean was angry. I started mistreating him because he wasn't the man that I thought he was.
Right.
And then, then I could tell, I'm not going to say he was resentful, but, for a long time, we had a rocky marriage.
Right.
But I think what really kept us together was because we were always away from each other. We had 2 kids we wanted to take care of. Like I said, I was active duty, he was active duty. We went on many deployments. And then finally in 2003, I got out of the military. And that's when we really started taking it serious that, okay, we want our marriage to work.
Mm.
And it was a long, hard road. It's not easy, but I will tell you, and if any woman is out there and they have to deal with a situation of, having a child brought in when you were not there in the beginning. For example, it's easy, or not, I'm not going to say easy, but when you walk into a relationship and your spouse or your other partner already has a child, you make that decision then and there to accept that other child.
Right.
But when you walk into a relationship and there are no other children, and then one is created and brought into the marriage and they're younger than your child, it's like, it's a whole different pill to swallow.
Right.
I always hear it. I hear it from people now. Oh, as a step parent, you need to accept this other child, or blah, blah, blah. It's not the child's fault. You're right. It's not the other child's fault. But as the other partner, you didn't ask for that either. You didn't come into the relationship already accepting of another child because there was no other child there.
Right.
So for me and my struggle, that has been my biggest struggle. And I was not, because, I was adamant from a younger age that I wasn't going to deal with baby mama drama. I mean,
right.
That seems to be the number one thing where women going into it and their partners already having other kids is you have the other parent drama.
Right.
I didn't want that. And so I shut myself off from it for many years.
Right.
And I had in the beginning, I said what I was going to say, but see, all of us were active duty. And I guess that's where I'm not going to say it helped, but I think that's what, where we stood.
Right, right. Now,
and so,
go ahead.
But, even after all of that, it was, I had to make a choice. And I'm going to be honest, it wasn't until like 16 years later that I made that choice to fully accept everything.
Right.
16 years, LaJoya, 16 years. I made the choice because in the beginning I was so angry. I was so hurt. It was hard for me. And so even through all this, Sean maintained it. He loved me. Mm-hmm. Even though I did not have the love in myself to accept everything, he still maintained everything with us. And 16 years later, I had to make that choice. And even after that, I made that choice to accept her into our family. It was still hard because then we still had roads to go over, because I felt like, okay, I didn't know her. She didn't know me. And we're bringing her into our household. She has a mom, and her mom made it very clear that she is the mom. So now I have to step back, and if anything were to happen within the household, i.e., disrespect, not saying that it happened.
Right.
I'm just saying if anything did, I would not have a voice in the opinion. I felt like I couldn't have a voice to say anything, because even though it was our household.
Right.
So it was challenging there, but there have been maybe a few arguments here and there, but now it's been 22 years.
Wow.
22
Praise
years.
God. Praise
but
God.
it is a conscious choice.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's daily. It's a conscious choice daily to accept our family, because I had to realize, and I'm going to tell you, in all of these years, I had whispers in my ear from my family members,
Mm-hmm.
She's not yours. She's not yours. So I had to step back. And then even with everything for each other, for your spouse and you, to lean on God, always put God first.
Right.
But also make that conscious choice of...
Got better for you all, right?
It did. I'm going to go back. As a woman, or as a spouse who, felt like she did, she created so much hate and anger within the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I had to, first off, I had to forgive.
Right.
But I also had to forgive myself.
Amen.
Because, those guilty feelings that I had of hatred and anger,
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Right.
And once you let go of all of those negative feelings, and it takes both partners, once you let it go, the love and the caring and the life that you can have with each other is so great.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yes, yes. Now, did Mr. Rashawn want to say anything? Oh, is he there?
What?
Hey, Mr. Graham, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right. Now, I know you've been there. You've been listening to Tasha's story. Well, you had to live through the story. How are things going now? And how do you feel about everything?
Oh, my goodness. Well, things are going great now. But
Right.
like you said, it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard because, it got to a point that, it's like, hell, what do you want me to do? Possibly would tell her something about what.
So then you have a lack of communication, or not going to say lack of, but a communication barrier.
Right.
Because neither party receiving what the other person was trying to communicate.
Right.
So then it was a barrier, and it takes time working through that. Or how can I say? Sometimes, as long as you both try to put your best feet forward.
Tell everybody about yourself, because I just went straight into the topic. Tell everybody about you and what you do.
Well, I have two hats. Well, actually, I have several hats. But
Yes, you do.
Professionally, I do wear several hats. I am a business owner. I own a small boutique in Wetumpka, Alabama. However, I'm a partner with my mom and my husband, and we have a location in Virginia as well. We do work with women who've had breast cancer, And then we work with regular women who need a good fitting bra.